Today I'm going to talk about the courage to be brave, and I feel like that's sort of the same thing. They could probably be flipped too. The bravery to have courage. On their own, these things are easy to drop as buzzwords. We could use them interchangeably in a way that pretty much everyone understands. Having courage, being brave, having bravery, being courageous. But understanding it is less than half the battle. You probably know that it's helpful to be brave. I mean, it seems kind of obvious we would want to have courage. You likely wouldn't set a goal to be less brave or less courageous. In a recent episode, I talked about the fact that there are hidden opportunities in every challenge we face. But this isn't just about perseverance toward external goals. It's just as much, maybe more, important to win the internal battle too. If you compare yourself to someone else, you have to compare yourself to everything. But a lot of times we compare ourselves to external battles, when in reality, the most important ones are internal. If you're winning those, then you're really winning life. One of my favorite thinkers, Seth Godin, talks about how schools should focus on teaching courage and bravery. And that's critical that we explicitly teach these skills in today's world. But how do you do it? It sounds a little bit impossible to say that you're going to have a course called Courage 101 or Bravery 102. But it comes down to this idea of winning the battle within. If we could just teach people to win the battle within. Life isn't just about chasing milestones like getting 1 million podcast downloads, which would be dope. Don't get me wrong. Getting 1,000 5-star reviews on the show, or reaching any sort of business target or financial milestone. Those things are all great, but the real victory lies in how we handle the obstacles that life throws our way. Can we take heartbreak, failure, or grief and channel it into something positive? Can we remain kind, generous, creative, and full of energy even when times are tough? I used to get this wrong. I thought that working harder and longer was the key. But I've learned through experience and from conversations on this show, like the one I had with Taylor Simmons, that balance is critical. It's not about burning ourselves out to achieve external goals. True discipline comes from building a strong foundation of mental, physical, and spiritual wellness. Then, and only then, layering our ambitions on top of that foundation. But the idea of building this foundation on mental, physical, and spiritual wellness just doesn't sound as much fun. And thus, this is why it's called a battle within, because it really is a battle to find balance amidst the hustle and the more fun things that we want to do. Fellow podcaster Ali Abdaal often asks his guests, I've heard it many times, about the topic of work-life balance. If it's possible when pursuing big dreams, or if it's just a buzzword that people who have already achieved a certain level of time and financial success are able to see and say that you need balance. But can you achieve balance early on? Or is it something that we only attain once we've quote-unquote made it? I'm curious what you think as you listen to this. Do you think that balance is possible even from the early days? Is it possible to achieve work-life balance throughout the whole journey? Now, regardless of how you and I feel, this is kind of a trick question because I believe that we should always strive for balance from the beginning. There's really no reason not to. I used to strive for hustle and hard work like I was always going to war, but life can be a lot easier than this. That I definitely believe, even with massive dreams. I have hundreds of goals, books to write, podcasts to record, business deals to close, but I've learned to prioritize my well-being. I used to pull all-nighters, go without proper water or nutrition, but now I can shut her down in favor of this foundation of wellness. And I feel like that's real discipline, something to truly be proud of. Now, it's another one of the forever games, the infinite games that we play, and we can always get better at it. We can always get worse at it. But the idea is to continually be working on discipline for the battle within. It's about getting better at saying no to the grind long enough to eat well, sleep well, and spend time with family and friends. Once you have that foundation, then you can go stack your dreams on top of it and use all other obstacles as stepping stones, not barriers. In one of the most popular business books of this day, The One Thing, the author talks about the fact that we can't really achieve balance, but what we can achieve is counterbalance. So right after I'm done recording this, actually, I'm going to pick up my daughter and I will be entirely focused for the next 2 hours on hanging out with her and just being the best dad that I can be. Right now, I am 100% focused on recording this episode. And so the idea is less about balance in a moment and more about appreciating that our balance will swing back and forth. But overall, we can always achieve the counterbalance that we need to build that foundation of wellness. So if this all requires discipline, then what is the path to get there? Discipline, like I said, it's another one of those beautiful infinite forever games. The idea of building mastery over this battle within requires shifts in our mindset forever. And one of the things that really helped me was recognizing that I'll never get all of my ambitions achieved. And that rather than it being scary, this can be a relief. It's just facts. And if I can't do all of them anyways, if I can't even do 90% of them in my lifetime, then why am I worried about getting 11 or 12 or 15% of them done? I can just chill a little bit. And here are a few other things that can really help us increase discipline. First of all, focusing on what you can control. So preserving energy for the most important things that you actually have control over. Detaching from outcomes, can you focus on the process and effort instead of the results? Seeing our setbacks as setups. So are we able to keep moving forward without being perfect? Embracing consistent action. These goals don't need to take a lot. Instead of overthinking, just choose a daily activity that you are going to do in line with your big dream and work on it for a minimum viable habit, like 10 minutes a day or 250 words a day guaranteed, and sometimes you'll work way beyond that. Design routines that guarantee this consistency. And finally, build emotional control, because when we have emotional control, we make better decisions that allow us to focus on the most important things. When we feel like not getting sleep, we can put our emotions aside of something that we wanted to get done that doesn't really matter, and we can go to bed. If it's time to go get a workout in, but you really are having fun gaming or streaming online or reading a book or writing a book, you can say, no, right now it's workout time. And even though it brings me a little bit of nerves and anxiety and stress to have to put down the thing I'm really enjoying to go do that, that's what time it is right now. I hope all of this really helps you today. The idea of improving your discipline as an infinite game, appreciating that we can't really have balance, but we can have counterbalance, and that all of this takes a bit of bravery and courage, but those are the most important skills that any of us at any age need to work on in today's day and age. Appreciate you so much. Please do remember that any ratings, reviews really go a long way to help the show grow, and I'd appreciate if you pass the show along to anybody who you think might benefit. All the best, and until next time, just keep learning.